Sebab aku nak nyanyi. Marhaban tiba, marhaban tiba, marhaban tiba.
Marhaban benda.
Apa kau?
Ramadan lah.
Welcome to Arif Cafe, where you can sit down, relax, while we serve you with the tea of the day.
Assalamualaikum and welcome to the 5th episode of Arif Cafe. As you may guess by the song and by our background, we're going no, just kidding. We're going to talk about Ramadan because it's coming up in 2 or 3 days when we're going to post this podcast. So, Shan, what about Ramadan, huh?
Yes. What's so special about Ramadan, Kina? Okay, fellow listeners. Puasa ni, seperti yang kita selalu sebutkan kan, dia adalah ibadah puasa ataupun ibadah umat Islam yang sangat unik tau. If we compare to other ibadah like solat, tunaikan zakat, and people might wonder why kan, what's so special about fasting? Okay, sebab sifat puasa ni kan dianggap sebagai sifat rahsia tau, sebab it's the only ibadah that is known between those who's doing it and with the God with the Almighty God. Sebab when we fast, other people tak perasan pun tau. It's up to us to be sincere, up to us to do that the whole day without people even noticing it. And ni termaktub dalam hadis riwayat daripada Al-Bukhari Muslim, which says that semua amalan anak Adam ialah untuk dirinya kecuali berpuasa, sebab ia adalah buatku dan aku sendiri yang akan membalasnya. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's so interesting sebab macam how do you monitor makan? Like how do you monitor your son or your daughter? Macam okay, today you cannot fast, but how do you know they're not gonna eat?
Exactly.
Kita tak nampak tau. Tapi but so Ramadan is actually a very it should be very personal ibadah, you know, because again
Exactly.
you can't see the act of not eating, you can't see the act of not drinking, or the act of not inserting anything on anyone. Anyway, but then again, Ramadan is also a very big thing, even though
it is.
Yeah, kan? Macam even though it's so secret, it's also so celebrated all over. I mean, all over the world where Muslims are there. So another point to talk about is Ramadan. Like there's a paradox. Number one, Ramadan being something that is secret, something that is personal to the Muslim themselves, but at the same time, it's also very visible. Like you see Bazaar Ramadan, you see people going to the mosque, masjid kat belakang ni lah, nampak masjid lah.
And I think when we say it's personal kan, for me lah, when I fast in Malaysia and when I fast here overseas, you can see a big difference tau. If you are fasting in Malaysia kan, like it's already common among your friends. Okay, dia puasa sunat, or like she's fasting, and then like sometimes you get this special treatment ke, you get this special, jangan buat macam tu, she's fasting. Tapi when you
tak pernah
like sometimes you have that feeling tau, macam orang kata, okay, I'm so sorry if I do that, some you are fasting and some people will be very concerned. Tapi macam when you say that it is a very honest punya ibadah kan, I think that's very obvious when you come here tau in France, because when you are fasting, people won't know. So it's you. You can't even tell them, hey, don't do this to me, I'm fasting. No, like we have different culture. So I think that's very sincere of you to do an ibadah that people don't really know about. It's like you are donating in secret, you know. People's not even watching, but you know you're doing it for the sake of you and for God.
Okay, on like the thing that you said about how people react to you when you fast, right? I still remember kalau kat MFI kan kita duduk dalam dorm So dalam dorm, kalau kita puasa and then kawan makan, mesti diorang macam apa tu? Oh sorry aku makan depan kau.
Oh,
Tapi
exactly.
kadang-kadang bila kita solat, kita dengar lah orang borak-borak tepi-tepi.
Oh, betul. Exactly.
Not a shit, tapi just like in general. Sometimes I do it as well. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Like especially in our culture, right? When people are like praying ke apa macam, it's just like that's normal thing. But then like if someone says, oh I'm fasting, that suddenly becomes a big deal out of nowhere. When actually in our rukun Islam, even both fasting and
betul.
praying are both the pillars of Islam.
Wait, just on another note on Ramadan as a huge cultural thing in Malaysia, I just want to say that I really miss Bazaar Ramadan and I haven't been to one. Since bila last 2019 kan?
Ya, 2019. Ya, kita sempat puasa kat Malaysia.
Yeah, like balik Malaysia pun tak boleh nak pergi bazar sebab COVID hari tu, so very sad. So
yeah, but on a side note, how to say, even though we don't really get this merry environment anymore, and at least we are experiencing a new kind of Ramadan tau. Those who stay here, you are celebrating with friends, and those yang tak dapat pergi, at least you could spend more time with families, so on and so forth.
C'est vrai,
Yeah.
c'est vrai.
C'est vrai.
Okay. Mana kan Ramadan dah tak lama lagi. Apa mindset yang kita perlukan untuk menghadapi Ramadan ni? Apa goals that we should set for ourselves for Ramadan? Syed, apa goals kau? Kalau ada lah.
Well, my goals actually since I was in high school and I didn't really have much expectation tau. My goal was always like macam determined by people around me tau. Let's say kakak-kakak Bada always like, you guys aim to like habiskan juzuk kan, so that nanti dapat lah habuan, something like that, macam you kena cini.
Kakak Bada mana tu?
No, like we are always encouraged macam to habiskan satu juzuk Quran, macam tu. So when I enter MFI lah, macam the beginning of like you starting your own life kan, since that point and what I aim for every Ramadan is like to go full force, because kita kan, we as umat Islam, we tend to like macam have this riuh lah, macam nak puasa, so that the first 10 days you sahur lah every day, you masak this time, masak that kan, penuh masjid, you go tarawih. But then until the middle, tiba-tiba your momentum macam going down, and then the next 10 days macam sepatutnya lagi the last 10 days you lagi bersemangat kan, but then you macam raya cepat lagi. So macam my aim every year is like to have this consistency in amal ibadah, and at the same time to go full force every day, because you only have 30 days in a year and you don't have much time, so make every day count lah. That's my aim. What about you?
Okay, for me lah, I usually don't set goals, but macam for me, what's a good or a bad Ramadan for me is a bad Ramadan is one where I'm not focused at all. I mean, it's the same thing lah, but I don't have goals, as in a bad Ramadan is when I'm totally focused on something other than Ramadan. Macam contoh lah masa SPM or masa kat MFI, kita tengah study tau. So nak buat assignment ke nak tarawih? Nak tarawih ke?
I understand.
And then kalau tarawih nanti macam tak ada masa nak buat kerja. So it distracts me a lot lah. So that's a bad Ramadan for me. But a good Ramadan for me is one where I can fully immerse myself in the whole process lah, like going for tarawih, baca Quran, and doing it, like as you said, consistently until the end of Ramadan. Like I just want to say that literally, like when I have my good Ramadan, the end of Ramadan is always the saddest thing. Like I know for every last day of Ramadan, my family would go to the mosque so we can listen to the takbir raya together, right? I remember this one time I cried because I was so sad. I think maybe that's a sign of that when you have really when you really had a blessed Ramadan, you know. When
Yeah,
you
exactly.
you akan rasa sedih, akan rasa macam I don't know, something is like missing. So okay, just the title of this podcast is Ramadan as the LDR partner. Yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah.
Exactly. For me, um, there's two factors lah that will affect your Ramadan. First
Mhm.
is the people around you, because if people around you are not really supportive, what I mean supportive is
Oh,
if they don't really like do the ibadah with you, or like they tend to ignore all this, you tend to be affected as well, you know. Macam like you said, nak belajar ke nak ni,
not
if
tarawih.
people yang tak cukup that concentration, and they will get easily affected tau. Dia akan macam, oh, people are studying, I wanted to study lah. But then the second one, the factor comes within yourself. So macam if you have that strong will and to be, like I said, to be consistent. If you think like you can't finish all 10 like one juzuk in a day, you go consistently tau, but make it every day. So that if people if you cannot ask other people to do the same as you can start by your own self, you know. So that, like you said, so that there will be no bad Ramadan at all, because you know that you've done a big piece of the effort every single day, so that
Faham.
by the end of Ramadan you won't regret ke apa ke, for me lah.
Oh my god, talking about regrets with Ramadan, I think that's having like when you finish Ramadan and you regret it, that is like one of the biggest regret that I can ever
Yes,
feel in my life. Like,
exactly.
okay, macam you know the analogy of like apa tu Ramadan ibarat satu gold mine, and if you don't mine it, you're at loss. You know that kind of analogy.
Yes.
So when you leave Ramadan and you don't really fully immerse yourself in it, I mean, it's gonna be sad. I mean, for me as well, you know. Today, yeah, that's
Yeah, I
interesting.
once felt like that tau. When I was a kid, macam after you end your Ramadan kan, and
Mm.
then you watch like forum pagi kan, and they say like the benefits of Ramadan semua, and then you suddenly thought macam, apa yang aku buat time Ramadan? Like,
Betul.
did it just pass? Macam, what did I actually do? So macam you begin to study tau, macam what's so special about Ramadan? And then like you will never find, like you said, the same feeling when you enter other month at the same as Ramadan.
Betul.
Yeah. Like we cannot see it kan. Kan people say macam all these shaitans will be detained in prison semua kan. Like you cannot see that. But you know, like deep down inside kan, you are actually one step closer to your God tau. Because every single day you are telling him all about it. And you get like to spend more time in Ramadan with him than other months. So why waste it?
Betul. Okay. Now that we've talked about what's the right mindset, I guess I'm in the right mindset right now too. So how do we make 2021's Ramadan a special one? Shan, what do you think?
How to make it a special one? I think the best step is to how to say, to improve, to make it better than last year's Ramadan or the previous Ramadan. You know, I'm not talking about big steps. I'm not talking, oh, if someone yang before this like only pray one time a day, tiba-tiba nak go full force 5 times a day. No, I'm not talking about that. Because you know, every people has their own pace, and I'm not here to preach you to do that big things, because I myself is not perfect. So maybe there are among us who during Ramadan like watch romantic movies. I don't know, like
Drama,
those that have sensual
Bridgerton.
scenes.
Kidding.
Yes, like dramas, or like even reading sensual books. Like like you normally do. But instead of doing that try to shift it a bit into a different direction. Like, these small steps, and then like with your long lost friends, and like you've never reached out to them before. So maybe you can text them, say, hey, how are you doing? Do you remember me? All these small steps are actually like a big drive, for your post Ramadan after that. It will push you to do better things.
Okay. So it kind of sounds like we want to use Ramadan as like 3 months where we start to do everything good. Some people are just gonna say that, oh, kenapa start time Ramadan? Kenapa tak start time bulan lain? I would say that that's the thing about Ramadan. That's the special thing about it. Like, um, it's a month of being good. Like, I like it's a special month. Like, accept that fact.
Maybe like if you say like why start now, okay? I'm asking the fellow listeners. Okay, so why don't you start before this? Why are you questioning Ramadan? We are like encouraging you, if you don't have the opportunity before this, and to use Ramadan as a stepping stone, because people often says that Ramadan is your beginning, because it's a whole blessing, like it's a blessed month. Like, what are you waiting for? If you haven't started, go on. If you have yes, like if you have started, then Ramadan should be your, like your moving progress. It should make you better, actually, so that whoever comes out of Ramadan, they are actually the better version of themselves than before. Inshallah.
Oh, there's also one thing that you said just now that was interesting. That was setting goals such as getting get going back, like, no, connecting with your old friends. So maybe Ramadan isn't just about fixing your ibadah, but it's also about fixing your relationship around with the people around you, because again, our deen is not just with God, it's also with the human beings. So like maybe that's one thing, that's another aspect of Ramadan that we just don't, like, we often forget. That is the what do you call human beings in Arabic? Nas, right?
Anas.
Anas, okay. Anas.
Habluminallah,
Yep.
habluminanas. Yeah.
So yeah. So like don't wait until Raya for you to like minta maaf or like
Yeah,
connect with
true.
people around you. Minta maaf dengan aku sekarang. Ramadan.
Yeah, and not just that. Like for me also, when you call your parents, start saying like thank you, like for everything. Like because it's a blessed month, you never know what will happen anytime. So use everything you can lah. So that now that we've talked about it again, I think I'll wrap up this whole podcast saying that we are not here as a podcast host to dictate what are you going to do and so on and so forth.
No.
But you should make the most you should make the most of it, the most of Ramadan. Make a lot of du'as. Cleanse your heart, forgive people around you, because it's like we said, it's our long distance relationship partner. You only have these 30 days in a year. If you come out of it with nothing and with zero effort, like it's such a waste. Like you could have done so many things. So let's enter this holy month with a new mindset. Kina, you have anything else to add up?
Well, I think you've said everything that I wanted to say. So, Shad, I thought you wanted to sing something.
Oh, before that, we wish our listeners
selamat berpuasa.
1, 2, 3. Nawaitu Sawma qadin anadai fardi syari Ramadana هذه السنة لله تعالى.
We're very bad at this, but happy Ramadan, everyone. Bye.
Happy Ramadan. Assalamualaikum.
Berpuasa esok hari untuk menunaikan fardu Ramadan.